What famous preacher or missionary comes to your mind as having what you would call a substantial impact on society? Who would you say? Who comes to mind? Billy Graham? That's kind of an obvious one. Everyone in last service said the same thing. Who else? Who? Franklin Graham. Spurgeon is another one. Charles Stanley. David Jeremiah. Okay, I'm having a hard time hearing, so if you say something, forgive me. I'll tell you a few that as far as preachers goes, I have Spurgeon, Billy Graham, D.L. Moody. How many saw the movie Great Awakening recently that was out? Who was the pastor in it? George Whitefield, right? He was there with Benjamin Franklin and preached revival up and down our nation when it was just getting started. There's Jonathan Edwards, Billy Sunday. I think of A.B. Simpson, the founder of the Christian and Missionary Alliance. What started out was just a preaching to the masses up in New York has grown worldwide with missionaries and pastors and just the witness to other people. That was his desires. How about missionaries? Any famous missionaries that you can think of? Jim Elliot. What do we know about Jim Elliot? He went to Ecuador, right? And he was killed. He went there to serve the people, and he got off the plane, and they killed him and 3 or 4 other missionaries. But his wife went back to that same group of people, that same tribe, and translated their language and won people to the Lord. How about David Livingstone in Africa? Hudson Taylor in China. He was the founder of the China Inland Mission. How about John G. Patton? Anyone ever hear of him? There's a story he writes about that he and his wife, and I think it was Africa, and they were amongst the tribes, and they were in their hut. And one night as they were there, they were surrounded by all these tribesmen who came, and their purpose was to eliminate them, to slaughter them. And they were in their house and they couldn't go anywhere, so him and his wife prayed all night long. And they were outside all night. And when morning came, they got up and they feared for their life. They had no idea what was going to happen. But when they opened the door and looked out, they all dissipated. They all went away. And over the course of that next year, they continued witnessing to that tribe. And finally, the chief became a believer in Jesus Christ. And as time went on, about a year afterwards, he came to their hut. And he says, "You remember a year ago, we were outside surrounding you? We came to slaughter you because we didn't want to hear the message that you were preaching. It went against everything we said." But he said, "Do you know why we didn't?" And John was like, "No, because him and his wife had their heads buried in prayer." He says, "Because when we looked up on the hillside all around you, all we saw was men in shining armor that were protecting you, and we were afraid." You see, they were praying for protection, and God provided it, and they went on to become believers.